Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing.
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I put together 20 of my best Thanksgiving Dollar Tree DIYs for you. Lots of fun decor ideas that you can use to decorate your home for Thanksgiving. So let's get started with the DIYs. You guys have been asking for some Thanksgiving DIYs. And the first one we're going to start with one of these little Dollar Tree gourds. This is the largest gourd they had there. I wish it was a little bit larger, but it actually turned out perfect for this. So I'm also going to use some of the fall eucalyptus they have from Dollar Tree. And I picked out like the maroon, the green, and the red just to kind of mix it up. One bunch of each one. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn this little gourd into a little gourd turkey. And these are going to be the turkey feathers. So I want like the stem of the gourd to point front. I think it kind of looks a little bit like a beak. And so that's what we're going to use it as. So I'm just going to grab my red ones here and just kind of scatter those out. I have a total of 5. So I did one in the middle, one on each side, and then I can go back with the other 2 and go about halfway. And I'm just trying to do it on the back where they'll fan out like turkey feathers. So that's what it looks like so far. You could totally all do the same color if you wanted to. I thought it would be more colorful if I mixed it up a little bit. So for the maroon, the dark or maroon brown ones, I only did 4 so I could kind of scatter those out. And then for the green ones, I go a little bit further down. And I'm going to go ahead and use all 5 of those, just kind of spacing those out evenly between all the different colors. So they all kind of like lay like in a fan, nice and full. And you can do this with any like greenery. I think this looks really pretty with the eucalyptus, and this is how it looks so far. I was thinking maybe I should do something to the stem of it. Maybe change up the color of it, and it doesn't want to stand up. It's a little back heavy there. So I am going to use one of these little wood slices from Dollar Tree, and we're just going to make a simple little base for him. So he'll be, won't be tipping over. It'll be nice and strong. So I just flip it over, and I'm just going to put a nail right through it. And that way I'll have something that I can actually pierce the foam gourd with. And then I thought for stability, I might as well do 2. So that's where we are. I'm going to use those nails in combination with hot glue. And we're going to secure the little gourd to it. I thought it would look really rustic and cute to do the little wood slice. I love decorating with those. They're so fun. And I just glue that in place, our little turkey here. I think it turned out so cute. I was really happy with it. I was really kind of struggling to, I wanted something that would last year to year. So I wanted to use like a fake gourd, but you could totally make this with a real gourd too. And you could probably make a larger one. But this is what we have so far for our little gourd turkey. And then I am going to paint the beak of it with this golden sunset color. These come off pretty easily, and they're easier to paint if you just go ahead and pop them off. And I'm just trying to cover up that bright green stem with the yellow, that golden color. So it is going to take several coats to kind of cover that up. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I did about 3 coats here. Once I get that dry, I'm just going to go ahead and poke that right back in, right where I got it. And I'm trying to make sure that I don't get any paint on my gourd. And touch it up here and there for where I touched it. And that is all there is to it. This is our little gourd turkey. I think it's super sweet for Thanksgiving, super creative as well. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. What do you guys think about the little gourd turkey? This is how it's made. And it was great that I could just shove the little eucalyptus straight into the foam gourd, made it really easy to construct without having to glue anything in place. And this is how it looks. I really like using all the different colors. I really thought about, I was going to make more than one of these, but I could only find one of these gourds at Dollar Tree today. So we're just going to have one of these little turkeys, but I think it turned out so cute. Super fun. Hey guys, I really hope you're enjoying today's video. If you are, be sure to hit that like button. It always helps my videos do better here on YouTube. Okay, let's get back to the Thanksgiving DIYs. We're going to make a really cute little thankful planter box. And we're going to do that with two of these long signs from Dollar Tree. I found these. They are the natural wood, which is great because I can just stain that a darker shade. I don't really want that light wood, and I love the pumpkin cutout. So the first thing I did was just cut the holes off the top of the sign because I want to use all the rest of the sign to make a really cute little planter box. So I don't want those holes to interfere with my design or to have to fill those later. So I just cut those off with my saw. And then I'm just measuring about 6 inches down and cutting off the pumpkins from the sign. Now I'm going to have those pumpkins in my design because those are going to be the ends of my planter box. So it cuts pretty good with my saw. So just giving it a quick sand here. And like I said, I wanted to change the color. I didn't think that this color of wood was very warm, but you still have that wood grain. So you could easily stain it with some Antique Wax by Waverly and get like this warm wood look while maintaining that beautiful wood grain. So I am just using a paper towel to wipe off the excess. You know I love Antique Wax by Waverly because it's a beautiful stain and it dries quickly. And when you're crafting, you're trying to get it done. So I'm going to go ahead and stain the front, the back, and both side pieces with that Antique Wax by Waverly and clean up my mess. I love crafting on a silicone mat. I got my silicone mat actually on Amazon. I always have that linked in my shop below. I get a lot of questions about that. I love it. And then I am going to decorate it with this little metal thankful word. Now, this was not necessarily in the fall aisle at Dollar Tree. This was actually just in the Crafter Square location, but I think they have a couple different versions of it. This one I thought was nice and long and would be perfect for a planter box. It does have holes in it so that you can hang it, but I'm just going to kind of ignore those. That's fine. I don't really want it to be the galvanized metal look though, so I want to paint it. So to try to get the paint to stick to the metal a little bit easier or better, I'm just adding some Mod Podge all over a thin coat and drying that just so the paint kind of has something to stick to, because if you've ever painted these metal pieces from the Dollar Tree, they scratch pretty easily. And so then I'm going over it with just ivory acrylic, just trying to carefully go over it so the paint like stays on it, doesn't kind of get rubbed off. And it is going to require a couple coats. I thought that the white thankful word would pop against that brown wood and look really pretty, but like nice neutral colors. Going to be doing a lot of wood DIYs today for the Thanksgiving DIYs, and this is one of my favorite. So now that I have it dry, I can go ahead and attach my little metal thankful word here to the front of my planter box, just by adding a little hot glue here and there. Hopefully that it won't come out too much, but enough to make sure that it is good and attached. And you know, hot glue and metal doesn't always work well together. You might want to switch up a different kind of glue, but actually it held up for me just fine. So once I get it on there, I can kind of see, you know, any of the paint that's on the sides. I just clean that up real quick. I'm not going to worry about staining the inside of the box because you're totally not going to be able to see it. Now it's just a matter of putting this together. So since I cut these the same exact length as the width of the board, it's going to fit on there perfectly. So I'm going to use the little mini Jenga blocks from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to glue one flat on my side piece like that. And then on this piece, I'm going to glue it sideways. I don't go all the way to the top because I don't want you to be able to see it, But that way I have like a larger piece to attach to the side and a larger piece to attach to the front of it. So then I just go ahead and glue that, trying to keep like a 90-degree angle, trying to keep everything square there. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing here on the other side, doing one flat against the side and then one on its side. And I've built many boxes like this. It totally works. It's just an easy way to do some building with those Jenga blocks from Dollar Tree. Now, as you can see, it's kind of not really that square, but once I go ahead and attach the other side, it will square this out. So same thing. I do one flat and one on its side. The one on the bottom, I'm lining up directly with the bottom because that's going to help me attach the bottom of my box too. And then I can go ahead and kind of stretch that out so that I can glue the back panel on. So I'm going to do one side at a time. Once I get this side glued on, I can come over here and glue this side down as well. And this is how it turned out. I think that I got to this point and I was like, you know what? I didn't plan for what I was going to do for the bottom of it, but I do have more of those signs, so I think that's going to work perfectly. Another thing that I've done when I've made planter boxes like this is use those little plastic cutting boards from the Dollar Tree that are real thin, and that works too if you need to just kind of have a bottom here. But I'm going to go ahead and cut another one of those signs down. So I used a total of 3 of the long signs to make this. And this piece, it wouldn't matter if you had the pumpkin one or not. They have these for every season because you just want the wood piece. And I just glue that on all 4 of the Jenga blocks that I have there in the corners. And it's not going to give me like a completely sealed box here, but I'm going to try to seal it in the best that I can with a little bit of hot glue, just so it keeps that square shape. And I'm going to do the same thing over here, trying to seal up that border. And I love those little pink things that you put on your fingers from the Dollar Tree to protect you from hot glue. It works great. So there is our little thankful box. Now it's time to fill it in with some things that will look like fall. But first, I want to cover the little pumpkin cutouts with something cute. So I'm going to use white burlap. This is a white burlap roll that I got on Amazon. It is in my shop, but you know, Dollar Tree has white burlap now too, if you're lucky. So I just cut out a piece larger than the little pumpkin cutout, and then I just hot glue that onto the inside of the side of my panel, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. This gives it a really beautiful texture from the outside. It matches that ivory that we used for the thankful word, and it covers up the hole because you don't really want to be able to see inside the planter box because it's just going to be filled with foam and stuff. So this is what we have so far. There is my beautiful white burlap pumpkins on the side. And I love incorporating the shape cutouts like that in my design. I've made like candle holders and stuff out of these long signs too. It's always so fun. Now it's time to fill it up. I'm going to use a couple of these little floral foam blocks from the Dollar Tree and set them side by side. It is going to fill up this box nicely. Not super tall though, but I think we can make it work because I just want to make the planter box look full. I'm not even going to take them out of the package. You're not going to be able to see them. And then I found some great fall greenery at Dollar Tree, and we're just going to start filling this up. I like these. These are like, I guess, the Dollar Tree version of wheat. And in my last Thanksgiving video, I was able to find real wheat at my grocery store. Some of you guys asked what grocery store I shop at because they've never seen wheat at their grocery store, but Publix. And they have it with like their pumpkins and stuff at the front of the store for seasonal. And then I also used corn husk in that video, and I actually got those because, you know, people make tamales with those. Now to fill it up. I have a lot of Spanish moss and I have a lot of area to fill. So I go ahead and just fill that up with Spanish moss. You could always, you know, boost up, you know, your floral foam if you wanted to with like newspaper or something like that, if you didn't want to use as much material. But I don't mind using this much Spanish moss because I can always reuse it if I need to. And I did mix in a couple different kinds there. I mixed in the brown too, just to give it a little bit more color. I also picked up some of these Dollar Tree flowers. It's kind of hard to see there, but these are called the dahlia bush, I think. And I really like this color, the ivories. I think this is going to go great for fall. It's a little tall, so I'm going to go ahead and like trim that down a little bit, but I'm going to leave it all attached just to make it easier and put that down at the end. As you can see, I used 2 wheat. I kind of centered those, and you kind of want to use an odd number when you're arranging stuff like this. And so I did one of each one of those at the end, and then I can do some in the middle. I'm going to switch it up to a different type of flower. This is the hydrangeas from Dollar Tree, and they're very similar color, a little bit more white. And I'm leaving those all attached too, just shortening the stem on those by cutting those down and arranging those like that. I felt like I needed a few more. So these are not fall, they're actually the summer sunflowers from the Dollar Tree, but I love the colors on them. I love the white flowers with the big brown centers. And so since they're not summer, I don't want all of that bright green in my project. I just take off the flowers and then take off all of the green leaves so that I can kind of hide that in there. You'll see the beautiful flowers that are going to go with everything, but you're not going to see that bright green because you don't really want that for Thanksgiving decor. And I had a second bunch. I'm going to go ahead and center that right there in the back to make it really nice and full. And here it is. We have our little Thankful Planter Box. I think this is so fun and welcoming. This would look great inside or outside your home. This would look really cute on a porch. I'm a big fan of faux flowers, mainly because I don't have a green thumb at all. But this is how it turned out. Our little Thankful Planter Box. I made it with 3 of the long pumpkin signs from the Dollar Tree. I'm so glad that I decided to stain that. I think that's so beautiful and warm. It's going to look great with Thanksgiving decor, but I also really like the neutral colors. Here I also wanted to show you what it looks like from the side with a white burlap pumpkin. And you know, some of those flowers too also are made out of burlap, so they give it a really beautiful feel. And the Dollar Tree wheat is, you know, something that you can use if you can't find the real stuff at your grocery store. I'm going to combine a couple leaf signs from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to thrift flip another sign. I got this great solid wood sign on sale for like $1.50 at Goodwill. You know, I used to shop at Goodwill a lot more because they would do these sales. Now they only do the sales if you pay for like the Goodwill gold membership or whatever, I think. Maybe I should pay for it to see if it's worth it, but I haven't been shopping there very much since they quit doing their half price. Because I loved the half price on housewares. I could get great signs like this to thrift flip. And it does have words on it. I want a blank canvas. So again, I'm just going to go over the entire sign, and I'm just using some ivory acrylic paint, something cheap, just to give me a blank canvas, and I want to cover up all of the words on there. If you're thrifting something that's going to have words on it like that, especially like white with like dark letters on it like that, you can tell like one coat is really not going to cover it all the way. So it is going to require a couple coats at least on the words. Then for the fall Dollar Tree signs, I picked up a couple leaf signs. We're going to combine them together and make a really fun display. So this is the slatted leaf sign. This is one of my favorites for fall decor. Now, do your Dollar Tree still have all of their fall decor out? Most of mine do, but I went to one yesterday that has moved it all to the little square display that they have like right when you enter the store. So I don't know if that's all that they have left. It is a smaller store, so I know they need to make room for Christmas stuff, but I was like, hey, you have 2 aisles of things of Halloween stuff. Where's all the fall stuff? And then I am just going to stain the whole thing with Antique Wax by Waverly, including the boards there in the back, wiping off the excess with a paper towel. And I want to hang it like you know, hanging down, upside down kind of. And I just put hot glue on both of the slats there on the back. And we're going to attach that directly to our thrifted sign. And that's going to kind of be a middle sign because I'm going to use a third sign here that's Dollar Tree metal sign that says fall is my favorite color. It's got that great light green plaid print that we've been using a lot today. So I thought this would be perfect. Just going to go ahead and clean it up a little bit, take off the little hanger and the raffia bow that was on there, just to kind of leave just the metal sign itself. And even though it's not shaped exactly the same as the leaf behind it, I think I can make it work well together. Now I do want to cover up the holes in the leaf sign, the slatted leaf sign, and I'm just going to do that with some thumbtacks again. I really couldn't get all the way through to the bottom sign there, so I actually just kind of hot glued mine in place. But it kind of gives you a decorative touch, and I always like to cover the holes in my projects. And I think that looks pretty cool. So now we can attach the little fall is my favorite color metal leaf here to the front of that. And I think that the layering of the fall leaf signs is really fun. I was trying to decide how I was going to attach it on here. And so I start with just some twine and I wrap that around the back leaf here, lining up this where I want it to be. I do use a little hot glue right down the center of the sign, but I want to kind of reinforce that to make that stronger by wrapping it with that twine. So then I just tie a knot, tying the leaf sign on, but it's also going to be decor because I tie a little bow on the end of it. And then I can use that to cover up the hole here in the top of the metal sign. So it's functional and decorative. Just going to burn off any fuzzies on that real quick. And I think this sign is super sweet. Fall is my favorite color. It was really easy to put together, and it's going to look great with the rest of my Thanksgiving decor. And again, it just says fall, so you could totally leave this one up. It's just a fun idea of how to craft with those Dollar Tree leaf signs. Especially the smaller ones like this, because I made it a large piece like this to hang in my home, and it gives a lot of punch. Now, I know that the fall items like this from the Dollar Tree can be a little hit or miss right now. You might have to go to a couple of stores. Mine have like 3 seasons at once right now. Okay, for the next Thanksgiving DIY, we're going to DIY this little gather sign from the Dollar Tree. Now, it's kind of cute on its own. It's got like a blue squiggly background on it, but we're going to DIY it and make it go with the rest of our fall Thanksgiving decor. Now, I was trying to figure out how I was going to get the back of it off because, as you can see, it's stapled on pretty good. They did not want this coming apart. So I tried using like a little Cricut scraper to get under there, and then I totally broke the corner off because I was really surprised how much, how well this was attached on here. And then it's just not made out of quality material. It's made out of a thin cardboard. And then I just ripped it off, and then the frame itself came apart. And I was like, oh boy, I think I didn't know how to take this apart. Maybe the front panel comes off the sides better. I don't know. But that's okay. Even if your pieces of your frame fall apart like this, you can always put it back together. The side pieces stayed on, but the top and the bottom came off. And I'm just cleaning it up by removing the staples with a pair of pliers to try to get all of the backing that was on there before off. And I mean, it's all still here, so I can put it back together if I need to. I'm also going to remove the staples here from the side pieces and clean it up. Now, they know us Dollar Tree DIYers are going to try DIYing these signs. Why would they not make that a little bit easier to take apart? You know what I mean? So trying to figure out what goes where, I'm just going to reattach with hot glue this time the top part of my gather sign. And in the end, I think it actually helped my pattern by throwing away the back of it, because I do want it to kind of be a see-through piece because we're going to cover the back of it with fabric. And so I just hot glued the bottom one back on. We have it all kind of put together. I thought for a second there I had totally ruined the sign and that I was going to have to trash it. But we're going to cover it with that same white burlap. And so I'm just going to cut out a piece of it long enough. And that's what I mean by when I attach the fabric to the back, you can kind of see through it because you can see through the holes in the burlap. So it kind of gives you a cool effect. Like that. And it's going to coordinate nicely with the other DIYs that we've made today with the white burlap as well. You could totally use the tan burlap as well. I think that would be really cute too. But I was kind of going for like a little bit of ivory with these. Now I don't like the wood finish on it at all. It's just a normal brown wood. Doesn't look like a wood grain at all. So to get a wood grain, I just mix some ivory with some antique wax by Waverly, and it's going to give me like this driftwoody color. I like this. I always use this to do my driftwood, my faux driftwood. And I just distress the entire sign. As you can see, I'm leaving some of the brown showing through and a paper towel to kind of blend it in together. And then I'm going to go back in with just some straight antique wax by Waverly and distress it a little bit too, just to make sure it kind of has like, you know, all different colors of wood to kind of give it a faux wood grain. Now to attach my burlap to the back. Again, the 6-inch roll worked really well. It was a perfect size for this sign because I can always trim it down. But I want to make sure that I cover the entire back of it. So I'm going to start with hot glue instead of all those crazy staples that were in there before. And just hot glue the top seam to it and hot glue down both sides. Then we're going to do the same thing here on the bottom. And I am going to have excess fabric burlap to cut down on both sides and the bottom. But you can get like in there pretty tight. I just want to make sure that all the back of it's covered, but I don't really want any of the burlap sticking out visible from the front. And this is what it looks like now. It's got the wood grain, so I think that looks cool. And I like the ivory burlap in the back. So just very simple. You could use this. I made this specifically for Thanksgiving, but this would look great in any of your fall decor. And here is a little close-up image of our gather sign. Super sweet and fun. And I really like any of the gather or like the harvest feel items from Dollar Tree. You can really do some cute stuff with it like this. And again, you could leave it up all fall if you wanted to. Okay, up next, I found these. I don't know if I've seen these before this season, but they have like these tinsel like pumpkins and acorns this year. So we're going to DIY one of these pumpkins. And I wanted to do something really beautiful with this. Might as well save the thankful word because that was easy to get off. But otherwise, I'm just going to cut all of the tinsel off. Not a fan of that. Kind of makes a big mess when you're cutting it off. So I like to use like a little lint roller to pick up all those little pieces of tinsel, but let's get rid of all of that and we can start DIYing this. I also removed the felt from the little pumpkin stem. Now there's little tabs along the side, but I think they're going to stick out and be noticeable in my design. So I just use some heavy duty scissors and trim all the way around the pumpkin, giving myself a clean edge. So that I can wrap it with a raffia. Now I got this bulk roll of raffia on Amazon. It was a really good value. And one reason I got it is because you can unroll it like this and make a really thick piece of raffia. It kind of gives you the same look as if you had corn husks, which is kind of what I wanted to use for this DIY, but I couldn't find any dried corn husks available. So we're going to try it with this raffia. Now, the most time-consuming part of this was unwinding it to flatten it out like that. That did take me a while. I don't know if I'll do that again. I might usually use the raffia all rolled up like it is, but I wanted this like wider ribbon if I could get that. So that's what we're going to do. And I just glued that to the top. And we're just going to weave this through the top row and then go around the edge. And then when coming back, I'm going to switch directions of which ones I'm going under and which ones I'm going over. And we're going to weave this entire pumpkin form. I love DIYing these little tinsel signs from the Dollar Tree because you can take that cage that's underneath and just make really beautiful DIYs with it. And this was no exception. I really love how this turned out. The raffia was really easy to work with. You can just kind of glue it to start and stop. I didn't want my pieces to be too long. And when you're unrolling it, I did find it tearing every now and then. And so if it did tear, that's kind of when I just start and stop a new piece. But I like how it turned out. I'll have to put this raffia roll in my Amazon shop. I always have it linked in the video description below if you're interested in it. I kind of got it because I can unroll it like this for fall DIYs, but also because I think it's going to make some really fun coastal crafts as well. I've kind of looked how some things that I've bought in my home are constructed, and it seems like a lot of stuff kind of has like that raffia base. So not from the Dollar Tree. If you did want to use something from the Dollar Tree that's going to get pretty close, I would use like the little grass skirts from the summer section at Dollar Tree. If you took, instead of like, you could take like three wide and kind of do the same weaving pattern. It's going to be a slightly different color, but you could totally do it. And those pieces are nice and long on the grass skirts too, so it'd be easy to work with. So I just keep weaving all the way. When I get to the bottom, I don't have any tabs on the side anymore, so it gets a little tricky to keep it on the sides, but a little dot of hot glue will keep it on there, and we filled it up. Now, the color of the cage is that like dark orange color. It's not too obnoxious, but I do kind of want to disguise that if I can. So I'm going to use some more raffia to cover that up. I didn't really want the lines going across to be really noticeable, and so I kind of used the raffia there still wound up. I did not unwind that part, but for the other sections that I cover, I do unwind it. So I'm just gluing over that little plastic line that goes straight across. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with the other two rows here as well. And I'm also going to cover the rows that are going vertically too, to kind of give it that like little segmented look that you would have on a pumpkin. And I'm glad I did this. It was time consuming unrolling it. It was a little bit more work than I thought it would be. Like literally like turned off my camera and unrolled and unrolled. So I'm going to also do the edges of the pumpkin. For this one, I unrolled it and I'm just gluing like the top half here along the edges. I thought this would give us a nice finished look all the way around the edges of the pumpkin. And this DIY turned out so high-end, nobody would ever guess that it was like a little tinsel pumpkin for $1.25 from the Dollar Tree. So just working a section at a time, I'm just going to hot glue that all the way around. And then I'm going to go back and kind of wrap that around the edges as well. When I get in here to the top, I decided to just go ahead and keep using that same piece. And we can just wrap that around the little pumpkin stem, hot gluing it in place if needed. But I just kind of want to cover up anything that you might see there. I'm totally fine with that being like the same color as my pumpkin. So this is the back here. I'm going to hot glue the edges around. So it's basically going to seal in the little plastic cage on the sides, kind of hide everything and give everything that kind of raffia or like corn husk feel. It really did kind of feel like that material, but it's probably easier to work with, I would guess. I was trying to see, like, even at the grocery store, I was having trouble finding corn husks. I love corn husks for fall DIYs. I think they go great with it. Now for these little segments in the middle, I also use the unwound raffia. So I can kind of make it a little bit thicker, make it stand out a little bit and cover more of the plastic. And then I'm just going to do that on all three sections. And then I want to decorate this with sunflowers because we're doing like the sunflower theme today. I did go back and forth about what flowers I was going to use. At first, I was going to use these little daisies. They're not necessarily sunflowers, but you get the softer burlap colors with that. And then one of the little leather fall words. This one says blessed. So I thought that'd be really cute on our pumpkin. So I just hot glued that to the top. And then I was like, you know what? No, we're doing sunflowers today. We're going to use sunflowers. So I picked out 2 large sunflowers off of a sunflower pick from Dollar Tree to decorate the top of our pumpkin. And I'm just going to hot glue them, kind of stagger one a little bit lower than the other. And I did just tie, more of that raffia around the stem there for the hanger. So it's going to be easy to hang this as well. But I think it turned out really beautiful. What do you guys think about my little raffia pumpkin topped with sunflowers? It's so pretty, and I really love those leather words. I'm going to use those a couple of times today. I think they look so high-end, and you get a lot in a package, really. So here's our little blessed pumpkin. No sign of the plastic cage. We did a pretty good job of covering everything with that raffia, and I can't wait to DIY with that raffia again. I think it's really pretty. Okay, the next DIY, check out these acorns and thankful sign that I found at Dollar Tree the other day. Never seen these before. I think they're so pretty. They're strung up on a little jute twine. And then I'm going to combine it with a little mini tobacco basket. I got this for $3 at PopShelf as well. It's the first time I've been to that store. I found one in the next town over, and I was a big fan of it. For $3, I think this is super cute, right? So I do want it to hang on the wall. And so I'm going to just make a quick little hanger with some twine and loop it and tie and knot. And we can just attach that to the back of the little tobacco basket. It's nice and small, so I don't think it's going to be super easy or super heavy to hang. So I'm just going to attach that to one of the little cross rows here with hot glue and kind of centering that on the back of it. And then I thought that the little acorns and that little thankful leaf would be so cute inside. Such an easy way to decorate it. I do add extra hot glue there to reinforce that, and then I let that sit until it's set up. We're going to flip it over and just kind of lay our little acorns in here. I'm going to leave it all attached. I think it looks so cute like this, and it fits perfectly in this little basket. Thankful is going to be kind of sideways, but I kind of like the vibe. And then we're just going to start gluing the pieces down individually. So this is my little green acorn. And I'm just making sure that I have that good and attached. Just holding it down with the hot glue because it's going to be hanging on the wall. I don't want this falling off. I think that these acorns and this little sign are so pretty. They really don't need anything. I think the colors are great. The finish is great. No glitter or anything like that. And then I'm going to glue this one down almost straight here in the middle of the little tobacco basket. Have you guys been to any of the PopShelf stores? I didn't get a lot of stuff there, but I did get a few items like this that I was really happy with. I noticed they have dollar items and stuff like you would find at the Dollar Tree, but they also have more expensive items too, so it's kind of a mix. Everything's beautiful though. And I just glued all 3 pieces down, leaving all of the rope just to kind of do what it wants to do there. So again, another really easy Thanksgiving DIY. And I think it's so cute. And it really looks high end. See the painting on the acorns, how nicely that's painted with like the gold distressing on the acorn cap. So cute. And I love that little basket. I've always wanted one of those, and this is kind of a mini one. This is how it looks hanging up.
Hey guys, have you checked out my new website yet? It's craftybeach.net. I'm going to be archiving all my DIYs over there with photos so that you can pin them on Pinterest. I'm a little outdated due to the hurricane, but I will catch up.
Okay, the next DIY, I wanted to make a ornamental corn display.
When we grew up, we always called it Indian corn. I don't know if it's still appropriate to call it Indian corn, but I saw that a lot of people are calling it ornamental corn now, or flint corn, you know, the corn that is so beautiful. And I want to try to recreate that. So I'm going to use popsicle sticks for that. Now, to create a base for the corn on a cob kind of thing, I'm going to take the jumbo popsicle sticks, and I just glued 2 of them on top of another one going down a little bit, so it kind of has like a pointy tip. That way it's going to give me a base where I can glue everything to. And I wanted to use popsicle sticks to try to make the individual kernels of corn. So I'm going to use a combination of Dollar Tree popsicle sticks. I found the colored ones, which I picked out all the orange, red, and yellow ones. Then I'm going to take some plain ones and stain them with some antique wax by Waverly. So we will have some brown ones. And then for the rest of them, we're just going to use like the natural wood. And I think this is going to give me a lot of colors that you can find in the ornamental corn. And we can just cut off the tips of these, and it's going to give us a nice rounded corn kernel that we can use to kind of overlap to go up the corn. Now, I picked up some corn husk at the grocery store, and so I'm going to actually wrap that in corn husk, and this turned out so fun. I did find that my little miter scissors here are a little bit easier to cut the popsicle sticks, so I did switch to those. And I'm making them like a little over 1 inch long. I'm not really measuring them, but I want to make enough yellow, enough orange, enough red. I'm probably going to have more of the natural color than any of the special colors. That way I can kind of alternate all of the corn kernels. So I just went ahead and just cut them all down in advance, kind of sorting out the colors. And then I got more efficient. I realized I could cut like 2 of them at a time with my miter scissors. If you don't have any of the miter scissors, they are great. I do have those linked in my Amazon shop below. I love them for stuff like this. So with the natural wood popsicle sticks, I'm going to cut those down too. Again, I want a little bit more of those than the other colors. But, you know, I have those colored popsicle sticks from Dollar Tree, and I never use them. So this was a great use for them. They're very colorful, and then I won't have to paint the red, yellow, and orange ones. So let's start building our ear of corn. We're going to start at the bottom of the ear, and we're just going to start gluing these on. So one by one, I am making like the arch tip of them pointing down to represent a little corn kernel. And I'm just going to do a very random pattern, changing up colors. I'm going to want like maybe a couple of colors in each row, but I'm not afraid to put like a couple like natural ones together like that, kind of mix it up. And I made the bottom slightly smaller. I did 5 on the bottom, and then I did 6 on the second row. And then we're just going to kind of continue this. I'm kind of staggering them a little bit. I don't want anything to line up just perfect. I just want it to look really random. And I also want the color and the pattern to look really random too, just like you would see on the ornamental corn. And I'm just going to continue that all the way up. This was pretty easy to do, pretty fun too. I got this idea to make this corn on the cob from a blog, and I'll try to find that. I think I have that open in my browser, and I'll post a link to that. They did theirs with the dollhouse shingles, and they just did yellow corn, so you could totally do it with just yellow corn too. But I thought I would make a very colorful version, and I thought I could recreate it with items from the Dollar Tree. So that's what we're doing with the popsicle sticks, and they actually worked out really well. And as you can see, I'm just kind of continuing that pattern. Sometimes I can go a little off the side of the popsicle stick as long as I still have something to glue it to. And I'm also gluing it to the popsicle stick underneath of it. And we're just going to continue that all the way up to the tip.
The reason I made that one on the bottom a little bit taller is so that it will have like a pointed end, kind of like a corn on the cob. I decided I need a few more natural ones, so we went ahead and cut some more down. And then we're going to keep this pattern going all the way up. And I'm just trying to like kind of feel what I can fit when I get up here. Because again, I want it to be like kind of pointy. So I'm just going to kind of overlap these. These were kind of sitting up a little bit more than normal. But as long as I was able to glue the top and the bottom down, it worked pretty well. And then for the top row, probably only 3 of them will fit. And I want it to kind of be a pointed end. It's kind of jagged the way that the popsicle sticks are. So I'm just going to go in with some heavy duty scissors and kind of cut corners on those just to kind of give it that pointed look like a corn on the cob. This was a really fun DIY to make for sure. I'm going to go in with some of the corn husks. I got these on clearance at the grocery store. And we're just going to go ahead and start with these. I have another DIY with these as well. I got this huge package of these for like $3, so great deal. I'm just wrapping the corn husk around our little corn on the cob. And then we can kind of attach it to the front with a little bit of hot glue. I thought mine was a little bit wide, so I'm just going to trim that down a little bit so it's not too frilly on the back of that, because we are going to make a stand for this as well to display it. So I wrap a second corn husk around because the first one was not long enough, and I'm going to want to use multiple for different layers of the corn husk to kind of make it look more realistic. So I just glue those ends to the bottom there. I have this little scrap piece from when I shortened the first one, and so I might as well take advantage of it. We can make some little strips. Trimming those up, kind of making those look random. I want those to be different sizes, and gluing those on the front as well. Just kind of framing it out and making it look like there is an ear of corn in there. I think it's looking very colorful and very fun. I do trim the corn husk a little bit to kind of give it that corn on the cob shape as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and take another one and kind of rip it into sections. So I did like a third of it going out one direction, another third of it kind of going out the other direction. Again, giving you that feel of a corn husk. Now I want to display it, so I'm going to use one of these little round circle wood frames from the Dollar Tree. And it can be any of these. I'm just using it for the stand. So I just popped off the circle frame, trying to get rid of any of that material. There are a few nails that stick out of it, but it's not too good. So I'll show you what I did to attach this because I wanted to make it super strong. Now I do want to stain it to kind of make it look pretty. So I'm just going to go in with some Antique Wax by Waverly and go over the base, the sides, and the stand here. And then I'm just going to go back and wipe off any of the excess, giving me this beautiful wood stain, super easy. And then we can attach our corn to it. I do hot glue to get me initially started. I want it to stand up and kind of tilt off to the right a little bit just for fun. And I didn't think that the hot glue was going to be strong enough. And so I am going to reinforce that just a little bit. I have to kind of go through several things of wood. So I tried kind of putting the staples in there, but they weren't really catching anything. So I switched it up to nails. And I was afraid they might go all the way through my ear of corn, but they actually didn't. It actually made it a lot stronger. And I wanted it to just kind of stand up on its own. I thought maybe one more nail here just to make sure that it is going to stay attached. And so we're going to drive that in the back of this little frame stand as well. And I think that is way better. We have our little ornamental corn in the corn husk, very fitting for Thanksgiving. I think it's so cute. I thought more of the scrap pieces, like right here in the front, would be cute.
So I just pulled off some more strips, and we're just gonna hot glue that right toward the base, kind of closing that up, making it really look like it is wrapped up. And this is how it turned out. I think it's so fun. What do you guys think about my little corn DIY? I think this is so fun and perfect for Thanksgiving. It was pretty easy to make too if you wanted to get any of the littles involved. And I think it's so colorful. I'm really glad I decided to go with all these different colors instead of just the yellow.
And sometimes the corn husk can be a little bit hard to work with, but for this project, it was actually pretty easy. But I think it really represents Thanksgiving well, a little ear of Indian corn.
Now the next DIY is super simple. I picked up another placemat. This one says gather here with grateful hearts from the Dollar Tree. And then I also picked out the largest frame I could find, which was an 11 by 14 frame from Dollar Tree. And I thought we could just simply frame the placemat because the placemat's really pretty. Sometimes they are. I've also crafted with like the spring truck, with the truck full of flowers and stuff like that. And this is one of the designs that I find that they've been having for a couple of years now. So we're just gonna pop off the back of our 11 by 14 frame here. And I really wanted to make sure that my frame was going to be large enough to cover the placemat, and I think it's going to be perfect. Now, I'm not a big fan of glass. I really kind of want it to look like a canvas. So we're probably going to ditch the glass on this design, but otherwise I think this is going to work. Now, I do need to cut the placemat down to size. And I want to make sure that I don't cut off anything in the design that I want you to be able to see. So I just kind of center the back of the frame on there. And then I can kind of sketch that out with a Sharpie so I know exactly what size to cut this down. And this is such a quick, easy way. I mean, it's even easier than a printable because it's already a perfect design. It is nice and flat, right? Just begging to be framed. These would be great to use as placemats too, though. How beautiful are these? I love the green color. And I cut it down to size like that. And then let's DIY the frame to make it extra special. Right now, it's kind of like a deep color of brown, and it looks kind of cheap. I want it to be like a beautiful, like warm color, and I totally didn't have it. So as you can see, I'm mixing Antique Wax by Waverly, ivory, yellow, all kinds of colors together because I kind of wanted this warm brown color, and I finally got close to what I wanted. Something kind of caramely. And then I am using one of those chunky brushes from the Dollar Tree. I'm completely out of those. I need to buy more of those. Reminder to myself. And I am just distressing all over the frame, leaving some of the dark brown showing through to kind of give it like a faux wood grain. And I think that looks cool like that, right? Spoiler though, I don't end up keeping it like that, but I wanted to go ahead and see what it looked like with it. That's when I was like, you know, I wanted to kind of coordinate with the other DIYs we're doing today, and that wood color was just not the same. So I am just going to paint the entire frame with ivory like this. So I kind of have a blank canvas to work with. And then I'm going to go in with just straight Antique Wax by Waverly and distress the ivory with that. And it's going to give me that warm stained wood color that we've had on our other DIYs today. So this is just me being extra. I'm sure you know when you're crafting, you do something, you spend all that time doing it, and then you're like, I don't really like it. Let's try something else. Well, that was me doing that on this DIY. So I still want the wood grain on there. I just want this different color of stain, and I think that looks a little bit more what I was going for. So now we can pop it back in there. I'm skipping the glass, just putting the Dollar Tree placemat right inside, putting the back on, and lowering all the staples. It already has a hanger built into the back of the frame, so that makes it a little bit easier. And trying to clean up any stain that might be on the back. I don't want any of that to get on my wall. And there it is. Gather here with grateful hearts. It's beautiful. I love that design. And the frame looks nice and wood with all the distressing that we did on it.
Makes it look way more high end than the color it originally was dark brown, if you remember. And this is how it looks hanging in my home. It's a nice, large, looks like canvas hanging in my home, and it costs $2.50. So can't beat that.
So keep a lookout for these placemats like this. This seems to be a pretty common pattern that they try to bring back a lot at Dollar Tree, but it turned out really pretty.
Now check out this beautiful autumn blessing sign that I got at the Dollar Tree. It's so pretty. It's nice and thick, has no glitter on it, so you know I'm already a fan. But instead of the wood leaf cutout on there, I thought we could glam it up with some gold. So using that acrylic metallic gold and a small brush, I'm going to do my best just to paint the leaf and try not to paint the sign underneath of it. I thought about making like the inside of the leaf like a different color or to make that gold too, but I really kind of like the contrast against the white sign. And I love the words Autumn Blessings on there. I love the fact that it's not glitter again, and I think it's really pretty. But we're going to take this just Dollar Tree sign, and we are just going to try to make it extra special. It did take a little bit of time to paint that, and you can see that you really just don't get that gold metallic with that one coat. So I did have to go in here with a second coat and a tiny brush, just kind of keeping a baby wipe handy for when I do get it on the sign, that I'm quick to act, I can clean that up right away. But you could even do 3 coats if you wanted a little bit more bling, but I was kind of happy with 2 coats. Now to make it even more special, I'm going to layer it on another Dollar Tree sign. I'm going to use one of their chalkboards. I'm a big fan of those. They're a great size. They don't bow or anything like that. I'm just going to go ahead and remove the hanger on that. And we're going to cover it in this great metallic wallpaper that I found at the Dollar Tree, removable wallpaper. But first, I kind of need to get the tag off the back. I want to cover the back of it just because I don't have that image coming through. I don't want that showing through my paper. But that tag on the back is always a little bit of a challenge. It always requires heat, scraping, and some Goo Gone. Now, I want to cover the side that's going to be the back, this side, with just some cheap contact paper from the Dollar Tree, just to make it have a finished back. I don't really want to cover that side with my wallpaper again because I don't really want you to be able to see any of the words through it. So it doesn't have to look perfect. It's just the back of the sign. And so I'm just going to smooth that out the best that I can with my little Cricut scraper. And then I can go in with the Dollar Tree sanding block and just scrape all the edges of this. It's so thin, this contact paper, that it really does give you a perfect cut. Now, this is the side that I wanted to work with, and this is the wallpaper that I found at the Dollar Tree. It's white with like a metallic gold pattern on it. I think it's going to be perfect. So again, it's just peel and stick like a giant sticker. And my piece was a little wrinkled, but I was able to get it on there and get everything smoothed down, and you can't really tell. I did use my scraper to try to get some of the wrinkles out, and that definitely helped. And then again, using my sanding sponge to go around all 4 edges and cut it down just like we did for the back of this piece. And then I'm going to layer this underneath that sign that we just painted with the gold leaf. And it's going to provide a really fun like metallic frame-like border to it and just make it a more substantial piece. Just popping my holes back through all of my vinyl that I've added to it. And I'm going to go ahead and make a new hanger by taking some Dollar Tree twine, hot gluing the ends to make it easier to thread through all this stuff, and just knotting that on the front on both. Now here is our autumn blessing sign. I no longer need the hanger for this one. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that, and then we can attach that. And you can see it's just making this beautiful sign. It's already beautiful, just way more substantial and even more beautiful. So I just do hot glue all over the back of that sign and try to center that, laying that on, gluing it down. Now the only thing I had to cover up were those holes in the top. And I thought maybe I could use some of these stickers from the Dollar Tree and do like the little 4 corners.
It was kind of a tight fit, but it did solve the problem here that I was trying to cover up, which was the holes in the autumn blessing sign. So I'm going to line that up with like the corner touching that great little round inset there, and just line that right up. The only thing I was worried about is down here, I did slightly cover part of the bee, and I wasn't sure about that, but I decided to go with it. I thought this would be the best way to cover those holes in the top. And so then we're just going to go ahead and attach the other two. And it did give it a little bit more bling, a little bit more fanciness, more glam. And I think that's a perfect final touch to this little autumn blessings sign. It was already really beautiful to begin with, and I think we even took it up a notch. You can see how beautiful that metallic gold looks for fall, and it looks really bright once it started to dry, the paint on there. And I love those little corner stickers. Those are definitely a find and come in really handy for projects like this.
Now, I made this one for Thanksgiving, but again, autumn blessings, you could definitely leave this up all fall. But just with a few touches there, it made it really pretty. Hey guys, I would love to see your DIYs. Be sure to join my private Facebook group. It's always linked in the description of the video, where you can share your DIY with me, and you can also share it with everybody else in the Crafty Beach Bum community.
Now, the next sign, I kind of needed my own custom sign, and I love crafting with these craft boards from the Dollar Tree. So I picked up 2 of these. They have a real rough side and a smooth side. So you definitely want to put the rough side on the back. And even though they're cut pretty well, they do require a little bit of sanding. What I'm going to do is combine 2 of the craft wood pieces from the Dollar Tree together to make a larger square sign to do something really pretty. I like crafting with it because it's real wood, and so we can stain it and make it look beautiful. I just did a bead of hot glue and pushed the 2 signs together. They're nice and thick, so they don't bow or anything like that, and it turns out really high quality here. Now to stain it, again, we're just going to use straight antique wax by Waverly to bring out that beautiful wood grain in this sign. And this is going to make a really beautiful background. It's going to go with the same stain color that we've been using on a lot of the wood DIYs today. And I just make sure to go over the front and the sides here of all of it. Anything that's going to be visible. The sides are a little rough, so they're a little hard to stain. But Antique Wax by Waverly, look at the gorgeous wood grain in this Dollar Tree wood. It looks so high end. They do have knots on it, so I kind of like alternated which end got the knots there. Then we're going to use one of these little wood bead pumpkins from the Dollar Tree. This is the one that's like green and ivory. I did just pick up one of these the other day at Dollar Tree that was all white beads. It's the first time I've seen that one. I really like it. I'm going to have to use that for another DIY. And I thought we could combine this cute little wood bead pumpkin with some of the faux leather words from the fall section at Dollar Tree to do a really cute little sign here. These are like the tan leather words, and there is, of course, one that says thankful, so it's going to be perfect for Thanksgiving. And I thought the combination of the thankful word with a little wood bead pumpkin on that beautiful stained wood background was going to turn out lovely. So it was a little tricky to hot glue this down because I'm going to hot glue the wood beads directly to the sign, but I don't really want them to like spin around or anything. So I got to be kind of fast and glue that down to our sign. Anytime you're going to hot glue and you've just stained it like that too, you want to make sure that bottom sign is good and dry. And then I'm just going to outline it with some twine. And this is the twine from Walmart. It's a little bit thicker. And I thought that I could kind of frame it out, but then the twine is actually going to glue the wood bead pumpkin to that back sign because I wasn't sure how strong that was going to be since I glued all of those wood beads on and they were all kind of going every which way. And, you know, it's going to be kind of subtle. You're not really going to be able to notice it too much, but I think it's going to make it stronger because I want to hang this sign on my wall and I don't want this little wood bead pumpkin popping off. So I just go around the left side there, just kind of gluing that in, and just a neat trick that you can do to kind of make your project a little bit more stable. And again, it's really subtle. It kind of blends in with the wood background, so you're not going to be able to notice it too much. Just trying to get it as close to it as possible. Now for the thankful word. Mine is tan, so I was worried it wouldn't really pop against that, and I really want it to match my little would-be pumpkin, so I'm just going to paint mine. So I just take some ivory acrylic paint and a little makeup sponge and give it a quick coat of paint. You can totally paint those faux leather things from the Dollar Tree. It was so easy. Just going to make sure it's good and dry, and then I'm going to go back in with one more coat just to make it a little bit brighter, so it'll really pop against that stained wood background. And then we're just going to attach that little thankful word right here to the top, kind of centering it on it, just like I did with the would-be pumpkin. And just using a little hot glue here and there to make sure it all stays nice and flat against the sign. I thought this DIY came out so beautiful. So I used like 3 items from the Dollar Tree plus a little thankful word. So super inexpensive. And remember, we had that sawtooth hanger from that sign earlier, so we might as well use it. I'm just going to go ahead and hammer that into the back of my sign right there in the center. And we have a beautiful piece of artwork for Thanksgiving. This would look great. You can lean this up against something, or I'm going to actually hang mine on my wall. It's going to go great with all of the DIYs that we've made so far today. And this is how it turned out. So you can see if you use that like real wood panels from the Dollar Tree, you can't fake that wood grain. That wood grain looks so beautiful. And you wouldn't really know it's there until you give it a stain.
And you can do this with any of the color wood bead pumpkins from the Dollar Tree.
For the next DIY, I'm just going to use a thrifted sign. I got this at Goodwill for half price, so it was like $1.50. I love using a thrifted sign. Sometimes I use my own signs that I have bought years and years ago just to remake it. I thought this had a really cool blue frame, so I'm going to cover up that sweet corn label on here and everything, and just go ahead and paint everything ivory. I'm just trying to get like a blank canvas that I can do a Thanksgiving DIY on. So it is going to take a couple of coats to cover all of that because, of course, that label and stuff was super busy, and I wanted to have a nice ivory frame. I love doing like a neutral fall color scheme, and I think ivory fits in really well. It also goes really well with my coastal farmhouse decor. I have a lot of ivory. It really makes things pop against it. But basically, just wanted a blank canvas, and that's what we have now. Now we can decorate this. I love using blue for fall. Personal preference, it goes in my coastal farmhouse, but we are going to cover the back of our thrifted sign with one of these placemats. I love these. I've been getting these from the Dollar Tree for years. It's that beautiful like light blue mint green color, and I figured out how long it is, and then you can kind of see the grain on this to trim that down into a perfect straight line. And I just wanted something to cover the whole back. Now it does have holes in it, which is why I made sure to give myself, a beautiful like white canvas behind it, so you won't be able to see any of the design through it. And then to attach it, I'm just going to use Mod Podge. You could use something a little bit thicker. It is kind of a rubbery material, but I like using Mod Podge, and whenever I do Mod Podge for something kind of heavy like this, I just make sure that I use like a nice thick coat of it, and then lay my placemat down inside. Now I have this beautiful blue-green background to work with, and what I want to add to it is a turkey for Turkey Day. So they have these little wood turkeys at Dollar Tree right now, and as you can see, it's a little big, but you know what? I don't mind it bumping out from the sign, so I think it's going to work. Now, it has a hole in it to hang it, which I don't really need because I'm going to be attaching that to my sign. So I just go ahead and fill that in with a little Dollar Tree spackle. And then since it's like just plain wood, it's actually kind of got a cool wood grain on it anyway. we are going to stain it with Antique Wax by Waverly again, just using full straight, not diluting it or anything. And that way it will kind of coordinate together with that little Thankful Planter box that we made, a very warm color for Thanksgiving. And the raw wood from Dollar Tree just stains so well. It's going to bring out the wood grain. I'm just making sure that I get all of the edges and everything. And then I can go back in with a paper towel, wipe off all the excess, and dry it. Look how beautiful that little turkey looks now. And then we can attach it here to the front of the sign. Now, since it's going to need to bump out, I'm going to glue a couple of the Dollar Tree Jenga blocks to the back, so I have something to glue it to the back with. And I just use hot glue to attach our little 3D turkey here, and then we can keep decorating him. I found this great little thankful sign for $1 at Target Dollar Spot. It says thankful, grateful, and blessed. The colors work perfectly. And so that's what we're going to use to decorate my little turkey. But you could totally DIY your own little sign if you wanted to say something. Since the turkey is kind of basic, just being stained one color, I thought it needed a little pizzazz by using a sign and stuff like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is hot glue on my little sign. The color is green, so it doesn't quite match the placemat, but it's pretty close. So I just kind of glue that right there in the center of my sign, but also on the turkey. And then to cover the holes, because it was a hanging sign, I'm just going to use some thumbtacks from Dollar Tree and push those into the wood turkey. And it's going to help hold it on there, but it's also going to give it like a little decorative touch. Easy peasy so far. I thought about leaving it like this, and then I thought, I think it needs like something else to make it really special. So I decided to add a fall floral to it. I found this great plant at Dollar Tree, a little flower. It's got a pot and everything. The reason I wanted to use this one is because I thought the color was perfect and it was nice and large. So I'm just going to pull the flower off and attach it to my little turkey sign for a little pizzazz. I was trying to decide if I wanted it to be centered on the turkey or off-centered. I thought if it was off-centered a bit like that, you couldn't really see like the turkey head and stuff like that. But if you centered it on the sign like that, it was going to make a lot more sense. But I went back and forth on it. And then I'm just going to trim this up a little bit and hot glue this to my sign. Just putting hot glue directly on the stem and on my little placemat back there. And glue that right in between the turkey feathers. And I think it took this little wood turkey and just made him extra spectacular for Thanksgiving. This is really cute. You could totally leave this up for fall, but it is especially great for November and Thanksgiving because I love decorating for Thanksgiving too. Can't wait for Thanksgiving this year for my son to come home from college. It's going to be so fun. We're going to have to cook lots of wonderful food. And this is how it turned out. This is how it looks hanging in my home. I think it looks nice against my like tan walls and very festive for Thanksgiving. I'm going to use one of these little welcome gold wreath forms from the Dollar Tree and some of this gold garland wreath. This is almost more of a copper. I got this at Target Dollar Spot for $5, but it's really high end and I really wanted to see what this would look like if I can make a fall wreath out of it. It's wired and everything, so I think there's going to be plenty here to make a wreath. And that combined with a little gold welcome wreath form from the Dollar Tree, I think it's going to go really cute together. So I'm just going to start with the wreath form. I was going back and forth whether it should be on the bottom or on top, but I start with it on the bottom. And I'm just going around the wreath form one time to see if I have enough. And I think I do to go around it 2 times. So I just wind the wire to itself right there. It is a pretty strong wire, so I had to use a little pliers to get it pretty tight. And then I was going to just keep going around with the second layer, but it was going to put some of like the special parts of it in the same place. And I didn't want that to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it. That way I can arrange everything and make it lay just how I wanted. This fall DIY was so easy to put together and it turned out so pretty. It's a pretty good size too. You could definitely hang this on your door for fall. I wanted to do gold and glam today. I think it's really pretty for fall, and I think it's going to be really great for Thanksgiving as well. So with my second one, I can just kind of lay that on there how I want it. And then I was trying to decide how I was going to attach this. I didn't really want you to be able to see like any kind of twine or zip ties or anything like that. So I actually ended up using a fishing line. It's not the strongest, but it did work to make like a vanishing way to hold it on there. Now this is the second layer of the wreath, and so I'm going to go ahead and wire that to itself, making a second loop. There was just a perfect amount to go around the wreath form 2 times on this Target Dollar Spot garland. And you can tell just by looking at it, it's just so high end. Now, if you wanted to do this with like a Dollar Tree garland, you could totally do that, just spray painting the leaves of whatever you have gold, and you might get a similar effect. But these are kind of a smaller leaf. And this is the fishing line that I was telling you about. I was just knotting it, and at first I put the metal wreath form from the Dollar Tree on the bottom. And then once I get them all tied on here, I realized you couldn't really read it too well because part of the W was like underneath of it. And so I was able to pull it through into the front without messing up any of the fishing line. And the fishing line, again, not super sturdy. I mean, it is an invisible way to attach it, but you might want to slip like a zip tie in here or there to make it a little bit stronger. Because I did have a couple of these just break on me, just like while I was working with it and stuff like that. So that's why I don't know if I'd really recommend it, but I wanted to try it because I've been looking for a way to attach things to Dollar Tree wreaths like this, where, you know, you can't really hide it. Now for the hanger, I'm just going to take some Dollar Tree twine, and it has a little loop right on there, and I just knotted that on. And then we're just going to arrange our wreath form a little bit. It was so pretty. It kept its shape pretty well. I think because all of the wires and the leaves and stuff like that were all pretty strong. And I want everything to stay pretty close to the loop here. Once I got it all arranged, that's when I realized, I was like, you know what? I really want the welcome word to be more readable. So I just pulled it up to the top. So I actually ended up attaching it to the front of the fall wreath. And I have 10 fall DIYs for you today, but I also have some more finds as well, items from the Dollar Tree. I think that this garland is the only thing I used from Target Dollar Spot today. I think everything else is from the Dollar Tree. So just a few more last touches here until I'm happy with it. And this turned out so pretty. I was so happy with it. I think I'm trying to decide where I'm going to hang this. This might go on the front door. I have my burlap welcome pumpkin wreath that I did recently on that, but this would hold up better outdoors than the burlap, I think. So I think that's where it's going to go. I have a white front door, so I think this is going to look really pretty on it. And it's just really simple. I thought about adding some acorns and stuff like that, but I kind of liked the simplicity of just the 2 different kinds of greenery and that great welcome sign. And this is how it turned out. This is how it looks hanging up. I really love that welcome wreath form from the Dollar Tree. It definitely doesn't look like something that cost $1.25. It looks really nice. And that greenery from the Target Dollar Spot is just gorgeous.
And I thought this would be pretty for Thanksgiving, but I think it'd be really pretty actually for all fall season.
Now on with the Thanksgiving DIYs. This one's going to be really easy. We're going to use a Dollar Tree vase and 3 packages of these little mini pumpkins and gourds. I got these at Dollar Tree today. I got like the red ones, the orange ones, and the green ones. I thought this would be really beautiful and colorful. Now to decorate the vase and make it not look so plain, I'm going to use a little burlap ribbon and one of the little leather Thankful pumpkins from Dollar Tree. I picked up this burlap ribbon for $2 at PopShelf the other day. I really liked it because I didn't really have a burlap ribbon in this size. And I was really happy to find this. So I'm just going to cut out enough of the burlap ribbon to wrap around the wreath. And I really wanted something to glue the Thankful to instead of trying to glue this to glass, because I noticed the faux leather really does not want to glue to glass very well. So I'm just going to glue it to the burlap ribbon instead. And making sure that I have it good and down, because again, the faux leather and hot glue doesn't always play nice. And I kind of made like a little strap, a little belt to wrap around the plain vase and give it a little bit of Thanksgiving touch. I'm just going to hot glue that ribbon to it. I cut enough to slightly overlap it right here in the back, gluing it to itself. And easy peasy, we have the vase decorated. And then all we're going to do is fill this up with all of those beautiful, colorful gourds. I want to kind of like alternate the colors and just fill the vase up all the way. So I kind of want to alternate the colors. So I kind of switch it up and kind of see what's going to fit so that I can get it as tightly filled as I can. As you can see, like the gourds, the pumpkins, they all have a little bit different shape. I thought you might be able to see the tag on the bottom, so I'm just going to remove that real quickly before I get any further on this. And then I'm going to continue filling this up. I want it to look super colorful, and I think these gourds are actually really pretty. I think they're painted nicely. And again, we're just kind of mixing up shapes, sizes, and colors, trying to get it as full as possible. We're not going to use all of these, but we're going to use most of them here. So I think that's probably as many as I can get in there. And that's all there is to it. Such a quick, easy Dollar Tree Thanksgiving DIY. You could sit this anywhere in your kitchen, in your living space, and it's going to bring a little dose of Thanksgiving decor. And you could leave this up all fall if you want it. I think it's going to be really pretty for Thanksgiving. I love that it says thankful. Those little leather tags are so cute. And this is how it looks. I think it's really colorful and fun. And it could not be any easier. Okay, the next DIY, we're going to use one of these wood round signs from the fall section at Dollar Tree. This one has like a bump out pumpkin on it and 2 etched pumpkins on it, but plenty of room for decorating. So I thought it would be a great use for some of the fall stencils from Dollar Tree. So I am just going to stain the entire wood round with some antique wax by Waverly. I did have to switch to a brush to kind of get in all of the back areas of the little pumpkin design and make sure I get all of the unfinished wood stained. And I love that it brings out like the wood grain and this beautiful wood round. It really gives it a lot of character. And we're just going to do a really fun Thanksgiving hand-painted sign with this, but I think that the stain sign is going to give us a great start. I wipe off any of the excess with a baby wipe. I don't want it to be too dark because I still want to see the pumpkin etchings through, and I can use this for a guide to paint them. I thought the easiest way to paint these would be to use paint pens, and so I'm going to use my red Posca paint pens. I love these things. Sometimes I get these on Amazon, but I think I got this multicolor set at Target. They're a little bit pricier than some paint pens, but man, they work incredible. I'll have to make sure that these are linked in my Amazon shop too, in case you're interested in them. I love them because look how easily they painted over the stain. I use these to paint candles, all kinds of fun things. So I wanted to do traditional fall colors, so we've already done the brown. So I did one color in red, one pumpkin in red, and one pumpkin in yellow. Just kind of sketching out the lines that I could see through the stain first, and then going back with my paint pen and filling everything in. Now it's a little bright so far, the colors, but we're going to kind of stain it some more and kind of dull down the colors a little bit. Now for the pumpkin in between, I'm just using pumpkin color, so an orange acrylic, and I'm just being careful and using a tiny brush because I don't want to get any paint on the pumpkin behind it. I just want to get like the pumpkin frame here, if you will.
And I think the yellow pumpkin, the orange pumpkin, and the red pumpkin go really nicely together and really represent the colors for Thanksgiving. Just a few more areas here, and I think that looks pretty good. Now, I wanted to kind of clean these up a little bit, and I thought outlining them would help. I'm using a Sharpie. This is actually like a bronze color, but it's really close to the Antique Wax by Waverly, and that's kind of what I was going for, just to kind of outline everything and clean it up a little bit. And I think that gave it a little bit of detail, nothing too drastic though. And I love using a combination of paint pens and Sharpies because the Sharpies work really well for stuff like that. Now here's the stencil we're going to use. These came in a 2-pack from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to use the one that says Thankful and Blessed. It also has like the acorn and pumpkin design at the top, but we don't have enough room for that, so we're just going to use the Thankful and Blessed. Now I want to continue the same color scheme, so I'm going to use my paint pens again. And I'm just using my paint pen on the stencil. I'm going to do the word Thankful in red. It was a little tricky trying to get in all these areas and try not to get any bleeding. And then I'm going to switch it up and do yellow for the blessed. And for the and. Now, I don't know why that the and bled, but the blessed didn't. I don't know why. And then I'm going to do this part of the ribbon in red as well to kind of mix it up. And this is what it looks like so far. I'm going to kind of clean up the end because, again, I said I had a little bit of bleeding on that one. And I'm just trying to take off any of the excess paint. I can always go back and touch it up. Now, I didn't think it was very legible, so I thought it would be way easier to read if I outlined it. So, again, I'm using Posca paint pens, and I'm using white this time. And we're just going to go over and we're going to outline all of the letters here and really make like this thankful word pop. This DIY, it took many turns. You'll see here in a minute. You know, when you're working on a DIY and you're just not super happy with it, that totally happened to me on this sign. But in the end, I got to where I wanted. I also went ahead and traced out like the little ribbon to make that pop. Then I thought it would be really nice to go around the edges of this little pumpkin pop out with the white too, and really make that pop too. Just doing all of the edges with the white paint pen, trying my best not to get it on my pumpkin below. And just outlining it with the white like that just really makes it pop from the sign. Now, I like the white, but I also want it to be, you know, a little bit distressed and stained. So I go over all of that I just added with some more of the Antique Wax by Waverly to kind of tone everything down. I'm also going to do that on top of our bright yellow and red pumpkins too. Again, toning it down. We're going to make a new hanger here. I just use a little bit of Dollar Tree twine. A good tip I have is I always hot glue the ends. It makes stringing it through way easier. And I always like to tie them in the front. So I am just going to wrap that around, make a hanger for a little Thankful and Blessed. Then to frame it out, I thought I would use some of these little dot stickers from the Dollar Tree. I don't have a lot of room to frame it out, but I think we can make these work. They come in these long strips like this, which makes them really easy because they also have adhesive on them as well. I'm going to start right here on the pumpkin. I can't go all the way around there on the bottom because there's just not enough room with that pumpkin there, but I'll show you how I do to kind of cover that area up in the final project. So I'm just going to string these one by one, trying to push them down. They are pretty sticky. If you're going to use yours outdoors though, you might want to add some extra glue or hot glue to these because they might not stay on. And I go all the way around the circle as least as much as I can. And they were green, so I decided to add some green leaves down here to the bottom. Now, I told you that this project took many directions, and so I end up not leaving the green leaves on there,
but I'm still going to show you kind of where we went. So these are the lamb's ear wreaths from the leaves from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to kind of trim them up and arrange them here at the bottom of the pumpkin. I kind of wanted to look like a kind of a pumpkin patch and to kind of match my green border that we did. And then I'm going to cut off some of those berries from that berry garland to kind of finish off my leaves there by adding some orange and red. Just hot gluing those right in the center of our leaves. So I always like to show you the whole project so you know when I actually change my mind on stuff too. And you can see what goes wrong and what goes right. One thing I didn't like was the yellow. I thought this was really hard to read. So I just updated the word blessed with my white paint pen. And then I went back and distressed them over so lightly with the Antique Wax by Waverly to kind of make it blend in with everything else. That's when I realized I wasn't really digging the green on this project. I really kind of wanted to stick to more Thanksgiving Day colors. And so I went ahead and just popped those off with a little heat. And then I thought we could use some more of that wheat that I got at the grocery store to finish off the bottom. And I think that's going to look really natural. I picked 2 smaller ones and 2 larger ones. And we can kind of make it kind of overlap the bottom of the pumpkin and kind of come up like this. So I'm just gluing it to that pumpkin frame and to the sign itself. And it filled in that area at the bottom of the sign nicely. Now I think that looks good, but then I wasn't that happy with the green beads that we used around. But you know what? You can always paint those too. So I'm going to mix a couple of colors together to try to get that wheat color. I use my golden sunset in my antique parchment, and then I just use a makeup sponge from the Dollar Tree, and we're just going to go over and distress all of those little beads that we put all the way around the edges. And that's pretty much going to take away the green that I wasn't really feeling on this DIY. So I'm trying to just distress the little stickers and not so much the sign. And I'm going over that green color, so it is going to require a couple coats of the ivory to kind of make that pop. And I like it now. So this is how it turned out, our little hand-painted Thankful and Blessed sign. If you have the stencils and you have one of these signs, hopefully this gives you some fun crafting inspiration. I'm glad I switched it up. I really like the wheat on here a lot more than I did the leaves.
Now for the next DIY, I want to try to do a Kirkland's fall dupe for Thanksgiving. I really love this sign at Kirkland's. It's regularly $29.99, and I thought we could make this, but make it with supplies from the Dollar Tree. So let's give it a shot.
So I started with one of the wood pumpkins from Dollar Tree that you can find every year, some wood beads from Dollar Tree that are strung, some leaves, and I found a great metal hello sign that really looks like the hello on the front of the original sign. So we're going to have it hanging differently like the original. So I just filled the hole in the top of the pumpkin stem in with a little spackle because we're not going to need that. And then I'm just going to go over the whole pumpkin with ivory paint. I have some chalk paint. I think I probably need to put water on it because as you can see, this was thick, but hey, it was one coat coverage, so I guess I can't complain, right? So I just went over the whole pumpkin with that. The original had like 2/3 of the pumpkin being orange and like 1/3 of it being white. And so I'm going to try to set mine up similarly. I really liked the colors and everything that was going on the original. So once I get the ivory paint dry, I'm going to use some painter's tape and kind of figure about 2/3 of the pumpkin and try to lay that as level as I can on there. Then we're going to go in with some acrylic paint. I'm just using the color pumpkin. And we're just going to paint the top part of the pumpkin. I will paint the stem a different color, but for now, I'm just going to go ahead and paint everything this pumpkin orange color. Very traditional, very pumpkin color. I mean, they even name it that. Just do a nice coat all over.
And then once I get that dry, I'm going to release my painter's tape. I used some quality like 3M painter's tape. And so I didn't have very much bleeding, so I was happy with the straight line. I did have a couple areas there where you could see a little bit of the ivory coming through. So I did touch that up first and gave it another dry, and the final reveal. Look at that crisp line. I love doing that. Now, I'm going to attach the hello to the top, kind of like theirs looked like they had a black hello word. I can't believe I found the same thing at Dollar Tree. But again, I wanted the pumpkin stem not to be orange, so I'm just using this like teddy bear, I think color it is. Just a light brown color. Really any kind of brown color I think would be good. And then just kind of like doing like little triangular shapes here at the bottom, kind of irregularly, kind of making that look like a pumpkin stem. And that was the only challenging part of that, is to kind of make this part down here look a little bit more natural. The trick is to make it like not quite so uniform. And then I'm just going to use a white paint pen to do the little pumpkin sections like the original. That one had 4. This has like kind of an obvious area there at the bottom where the middle 2 would be. So I'm just kind of eyeballing that because again, you won't have that on the bottom part because the bottom part is white. So you're only doing this top like 2/3. And I just kind of sketch those out, kind of arch shape. Don't have to be perfect, but it really kind of adds a little bit of fun and dimension to the top part of the pumpkin. Here is the hello word that I found at Dollar Tree. It's perfect. The only thing that's not perfect about it is that it is on a pedestal and I just need the hello word, and it was soldered on there so well. So I grabbed my pliers and I kind of go to town on this. I know that with yardsticks, if you bend them back and forth enough, you'll get them to break, and this was no different. So I just kind of grabbed it as close as I could to the word hello and then just bent it back and forth until that popped off. Now I did leave a little tab still on here, and I really did try to get that off, and I could not get that off. So I'm just going to end up painting it black and hoping it kind of like fades into the design. It is not super noticeable, and if it's not silver like that, I use a little black paint pen, add a little black to it. It's not going to be the end of the world, but it was on there. I couldn't get it off. But how cute is that little wire hello word? It is perfect. It's the right color. It's the right size. And it's going to go on this orange part of the pumpkin, just like in the Kirkland's original. I just flatten it out, make sure it's going to be nice and level to attach to the pumpkin. It's going to say hello, and then it's going to say pumpkin on the bottom. So what I do is just going to measure. I have about 3 inches by 11 inches kind of down there. And I'm going to cut out the word pumpkin in black vinyl to kind of get a similar look to what the original. They kind of did theirs small, thin letters that don't really pop. And I kind of want mine to pop, so I do cut mine a little bit bolder, you'll see. And then I just knot some of that Dollar Tree wood beads and hot glue it to the back of the pumpkin sign. I did it like this because this was kind of how it looked in the original. But feel free to drill holes in there if you want to tie yours on. Kind of went back and forth on that decision. But this is not a very heavy sign, so I think that's going to be strong enough. Lots of wood beads on there, just like the one that we're duping. And then theirs had a green leaf. I did try it with like the yellow color, which I kind of liked. But, you know, this little variety pack does have a green. So I was trying to get as close as I could to the original, so I decided to use the green color like they did. And they just had theirs kind of attached to the pumpkin stem up here on the right. So we're going to do the same thing on our little dupe. I love duping items from like high-end stores like this. You can get some really good ideas, but if they do something that you don't like, you're always free to kind of make yours better or your own way for sure. So I think that looks pretty good. And then we'll need to attach the word hello here to this section. I just kind of study it and see what's laying flat. And it looked like this part of the H and this part of the O. So I just put hot glue on those two areas. I think that will be enough to secure that little metal hello to our pumpkin sign. I think that was really a great find. I didn't have to paint it or anything. And then I just used black vinyl and cut out the word pumpkin for the bottom. I did do kind of a skinny plain font, which is similar to the original. I just made mine a lot bigger because I really kind of wanted it to pop that it was said hello pumpkin, because I really wanted the sign to be whimsical. So I just used my paper transfer paper. And now we can attach that to our sign. I thought about making a stencil, but I think vinyl is going to be absolutely fine on this. I just line it up here in the white section of our pumpkin and attach that. The only thing I didn't like about the black vinyl is that it was like a glossy vinyl that I had. It was just a scrap piece I was glad to use up, but everything else is kind of a matte sheen. You know, the paint dries very matte. So to get that same sheen for the vinyl, I just seal it with some Mod Podge. That's going to seal the vinyl down, but it's also going to take away some of the glossiness. And I kind of continue that up the sides of my pumpkin. Couldn't do too much there because I already attached the word hello. Just making sure I don't have any little black pieces of foam in there. And this is how it turned out, our little hello pumpkin sign. I think it's adorable. This is what we were trying to dupe, the hello pumpkin sign from Kirkland's, regularly $29.99 at Kirkland's. And then let me show you our Dollar Tree version. I think we got pretty close. What do you guys think? We've got the metal hello word. We've got the orange and white pumpkin, the green leaf, the wood beads. And I really like how mine kind of screams pumpkin, but you could always make your font smaller. I will share my Cricut file for that as well, but it's a super easy cut. Okay, next DIY, I picked up one of these felt sunflowers from the Dollar Tree. I always love these, but I don't really know what to do with them, and I had a great idea for this one. So I'm going to show you how I use it. I don't like the glitter side, so I plan on using the back. And I thought if we did like a Dollar Tree wood round sign in the middle, that could cover up the glitter part there, and we could build a really fun like sunflower wall hanging. So the hanger is kind of in the way on this wood round from the Dollar Tree, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove it. But otherwise, it's the perfect size to go in the middle of the sunflower. Like that. I like the white frame of it. I think I can leave that. I think that will be fine. But to cover like the middle part of the sunflower, I have something planned for that as well. So it's just a matter of attaching this. It does have a thick round frame that goes around the edge. So if you're careful, you can just staple the felt flower to the back of that. And try your best to like keep it right on that rim so it doesn't go all the way through. So that's what we have so far for our sunflower wall hanging. I also want to make a hanger on the back, so I might as well just go ahead and do it now. I just take some Dollar Tree twine, tie a simple knot, and then we can just staple that onto the back of the sign as well. And then to cover like the middle of the sunflower part, I found some brown like washcloths from the kitchen aisle at Dollar Tree. And I thought we could do like a fun design in there. I like to DIY with unexpected materials from the Dollar Tree sometime. And this is no exception. Now they're scrubbing washcloths. So see the inside texture has like that net on it. I think that looks really cool and kind of like symbolize, you know, the inside of a sunflower with like sunflower seeds. And it's going to be the perfect size too. So I just need one. It comes in a 2-pack. And it's just a matter of cutting it down to size. I need it to fit inside that little round frame. It was a little tricky to mark this out though. So I just turned it over and used a Sharpie and tried to like feel where the frame was. And I am going to border it out so it doesn't have to be perfect, but I did find it a little tricky to try to keep it like down and mark that out. And so the way I'm going to use it, this like top part of the washcloth is actually going to be down, but it's going to be under that like mesh net material, so you won't even know it. But I'm just going to cut that down to size. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to border it out. It did shed a little bit there when I cut that material. So we'll have to attach the washcloth part first. That's going to be like our brown background color. And I do like the fact too that it has that grid. I think that looks kind of cool. I was trying to decide which way I was going to do it, and I decided to use it upside down because I did kind of have a little bit of Sharpie on the other side, and you're not going to be able to see it in the end. To attach it, it's kind of thick, so I thought some of the tacky glue from Dollar Tree would be great. So I just put like a thick coat of that down and just lay the little washcloth right on top. And again, I know it's not perfect, but we are going to frame that out so you won't be able to see like the edges of my circle. Circles are hard, y'all. And then I do hot glue all the way around the top part here so I can start gluing the mesh on. And then I'm going to go in and do the same thing here for the bottom. Now, to frame it out, you could use like Dollar Tree rope. That will look really cute too. But I found some of this great like mesh tube from the Dollar Tree in this brown color. Very similar color to the rope. That's why I think either one would work well. But I found this, so I thought we could use this for our little sunflower. So it's just the mesh tube. It's all rolled up. So it's going to fill that little void there between our center and the frame. So I just hot glue that all the way around. Now I was trying to decide, once I got it on there, I thought it was really pretty and a great use for these little felt sunflowers, you know, that I never really know what to do with if I'm not using them for like party decor. So I do decide to decorate it a little bit after I get this on there, because even though it's really pretty and it's really interesting with that like mesh in the middle, I thought it was a little bit plain. I thought we could take it up a notch. So I got that mesh tube glued all the way around, and then I thought, sunflowers. Now see how they have different kinds of sunflowers at the Dollar Tree? This one is like a little bit more orange than the others. And so I think that's going to match the felt sunflower a little bit better. So I'm just going to use like 3 just to make a little decoration on part of this. Just to add a little bit more fun. So I was trying to decide if I wanted to do like the left bottom quadrant like that, or if I wanted to do it over on the right side. I decided I ended up liking on the right side better, but either way, I think it looks really cute, and it just adds another little bit of fun to our little sunflower wall hanging. And you could totally use this as a wreath for your front door too, if you wanted, or this would be a great sign to hang around your house. The colors are so bright and fun. And so I just hot glue the little sunflowers, just trimming the stems a little bit to make them fit a little bit closer to that wood round. And the wood round really gives the whole project, you know, the shape and the sturdiness that you're not going to get from that felt flower that was behind it. So here it is, our giant sunflower. I think that washcloth material looks great for the center part of it. And it's just a really fun little idea. My first idea was to use like some stained wood beads for that part. That I think would be really cute too. It would require a lot of them though if you're going to fill up a sunflower of this size.
And I think this would be really pretty for Thanksgiving, but really for all fall as well. More gather with a grateful heart.
Dollar Tree also has the coasters in the same design. So I picked up one of the coasters, and we're going to make a little small fall Thanksgiving sign with it. Now to frame it out, I picked up one of their little tile signs there. I didn't really care which one it was. I just wanted the frame because I thought we could just do our own little thing here, kind of build it out and make a small sign. This would be great for a tier tray or something like that. Now, as you can see, the tile is smaller than the tile that was in there before, but I think we can make it work. I'm going to go ahead and hot glue it in just by doing a bead of hot glue on the inside edge because, again, it is a little smaller. And glue that little beautiful coaster right in place. Yeah, don't sleep on these coasters from the Dollar Tree. They have some really pretty ones. They are fragile though, so be careful getting them home. I've had them break on me before. So this is what it looks like so far. I want it to be a larger piece to sit on my shelf, so I'm actually going to pair that with another Dollar Tree sign. So I picked up one a little bit larger. I don't need it to be a hanging sign, and so I'm just going to pop off the little sawtooth hanger on the back. We can always use that for another DIY. This was a fall sign, but I really just wanted that beautiful frame on it because I wanted to bring in warm colors, and I know that the tile frame that we used before is really sealed. You really can't stain that. I've tried to before. It's just so coated that you can't stain it. Now, it doesn't matter which sign you use for this because we're popping it all off anyway. I just wanted the back. It does have like the wallpaper on the back of it. And I was trying to decide which side would be better to use as my back here because it ripped the paper, of course, and stuff when I pulled the foam off. But I decided the back of it would probably be best to coat. And so I just cut out some contact paper from the Dollar Tree, something cheap. I love the wood grain. Gives it a fun finish. And I put that on the back just to give it a finished back so it doesn't look so crazy back there. Then just using a sanding sponge along all the edges, I can get like a perfect cut here by ripping off the excess vinyl. I like to finish the back of my projects, especially like a sign like this, something that you might be able to see the back of. Don't want to make it super obvious that it's a Dollar Tree DIY, right? Then to cover the back of it, I'm going to use the white burlap again. This is the burlap roll that I got from Amazon, but again, you can totally get white burlap from Dollar Tree. And the 6-inch roll was perfect because it's just the right size to cover this. I don't really want you to see the finished edges of it though. So I'm kind of trying to trim that up so it will fit to size. Now to attach it, I'm just going to Mod Podge it down. Mod Podge works great for burlap because it's going to dry nice and clear, but it's nice and strong enough if you do a thick coat of it to get, really grab the material. So just spreading that out, laying my white burlap right on top. So we're going to have like the warm wood frame with the white burlap. So that's going to match like that Thanksgiving planter box that we made earlier. But then we're also going to have the little grateful sign that's going to kind of coordinate with the larger one that we did with the green and white, with a different color of wood frame. So I think it really all came together nicely. So I just trimmed up the excess material. And then I love this frame. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and reattach it here to the frame. It does have like some like thin nails that they use, but it's really going to require glue. So I just go on the inside of the frame, only the top and bottom. I don't think it's going to need very much, but I'm also going to use my hammer to try to reinforce the little nails back into it. And this is what we have so far, a nice blank canvas that we can decorate with the little Gather Here with Grateful Hearts tile sign. And look how cool that all looks together. It really kind of, I think, looks intentional. So now to attach it, I'm just going to do hot glue on the bottom of this frame. And when you're gluing onto burlap, it's got all the holes in there, so the glue is going to go right through to the back of that sign, making it nice and sturdy. So again, it's not too large, so you can still use this for a fall or a Thanksgiving tier tray DIY, which I will be coming out with a Thanksgiving tier tray DIY video, so look out for that one. Or I'm just going to use it for shelf decor for my home for Thanksgiving. But I'm glad that I expanded upon it and made it larger. I really like the little frame within the frame look. I think it looks cool. And so this is how it turned out. I love the Gather Here with Grateful Hearts. Again, I made this for Thanksgiving, but you could totally leave this up all fall. I love green for fall. I use a lot of greens, I use a lot of blues, and I use a lot of wood in my decorating. Ready for another easy Thanksgiving DIY? We're going to make a really fun Thanksgiving candle using one of these pillar candles and candle holders from the Dollar Tree. And then I picked up some of the leather maple leaves from the Dollar Tree as well. And I thought we could try to do a painted leaf using the stencils from the Dollar Tree again. I just chose one that was about Thanksgiving. This one says give thanks, and I just peel and stick, they're like stickers, onto the little leather leaf. Now I tried to smooth this out the best that I can. I don't know if it's because I attached it to leather, but I did end up with some bleeding on this. And so definitely be careful because I wasn't sure, I couldn't really get the paint off of the leather. I was kind of afraid to use fingernail polish remover or anything like that. So I just kind of left it as distressed. But this is how I painted mine. I just taped it off with painter's tape and then used a makeup sponge from the Dollar Tree to go over it with that antique parchment ivory color. Gave it a quick dry and then went over it one more time to make it nice and bold. That's when I realized I had a little bleeding from my packing tape. And I really couldn't get that off, but we're going to make it work anyway. So I'm going to peel my stencil off carefully here. And as you can see, maybe I used too much paint because I did definitely have bleeding. But I thought we can probably clean this up. So I go in with a baby wipe, and first I just kind of start concentrating on the areas that bled, trying to get off any imperfections here. But then I decided to keep rubbing it because I kind of like the texture of the leather coming through the paint. It gives it like a bumpy texture, and I think that looks really cool. So I kept kind of cleaning mine off until Give Thanks was still on there, but it was heavily distressed. Now for the candle holder, we're just going to use some Dollar Tree burlap ribbon. This is the perfect size for that candle holder. And cut off a piece that's going to wrap all the way around the little candle. I love candles for fall. They're one of my very favorite things to craft. So again, I want to attach the faux leather to the burlap instead of to the glass. So I'm just going to do hot glue on the stems and on the leaf tips. Again, I want to make sure that that's all glued down because it's going to be wrapping around like the circular shape of the wreath, and I don't want this popping off. So I make sure all of my tips are super secure, and then we can just wrap this around our little candle holder. I love this candle holder size. I think it's perfect. And glue the burlap to the back, overlapping it so slightly and gluing that to itself. So it's just another fun thing that you can paint with the little stencils from the Dollar Tree, and I think it's really unique and fun with our little Give Thanks leather leaf. And then we're just going to pop in one of these vanilla scented candles from Dollar Tree. And we have a little Give Thanks. Again, as you can see, I did have that bleeding on there. I don't know. Do you think it would be okay to use fingernail polish remover on that leather? I was afraid it might destroy the finish on there because I would like to clean it up a little bit. But I guess I can always say that I was going for a distressed look on there. But it says Give Thanks, and I think it's super cute for Thanksgiving. This one's going to be really easy. I found this great like bronze gold charger at Dollar Tree today, and I think this is going to be perfect for a giant like Thanksgiving plate for display. So we're going to do that with just some Dollar Tree window clings. These are great because you get 2 of them in a package for $1.25, so super cheap. And look at this beautiful Happy Thanksgiving like wreath with the corn and the pumpkins and stuff. I think this is going to look so pretty on this little charger. And then we can display it as a display plate. Now, to attach the window decal to the charger, I'm just going to use Mod Podge. I think I probably used too much. Sometimes the Mod Podge can come out pretty easily. You're probably going to want to use a little thinner coat than me because I did get a little bit of cloudiness. And then I am just going to lay my decal right in here, trying to center that and smooth it out. You want to make sure that you get any of the bubbles out and that it's laying flat directly in contact with the charger. I'm going to smooth it out here a little bit. And then we're going to go back with the Mod Podge, and we are going to actually Mod Podge on top. Because I want that matte finish, I want to kind of seal in that really glossy window decal to make it look less like a decal. And then I'm also going to go over the entire charger with the Mod Podge too, so everything will have kind of the same sheen. So instead of just going in one direction, I kind of did circles on this, kind of made sense. And then I'm going to go in with my heat gun and start the drying process on this. I kind of had a lot of Mod Podge on there, but I think it looks pretty cute so far. So this is what it looks like. There was a slight sheen still from the plastic and kind of glittery pumpkins that I wanted to tone down some more. So I did go over it with another thin coat of Mod Podge and gave that a quick dry. And this is how it turned out. I think it's so pretty. And makes a great display piece for Thanksgiving. Now I'm going to display it with one of these large plate racks that I got at Dollar Tree. And it's clear, so it will be a perfect match. And it is just the right size for like the giant charger plate to be a display. Isn't that image like so cute? I absolutely love it. And I love this charger. So here's a little close-up view of our little Happy Thanksgiving plate display. And this is going to be a great decoration because it's nice and large. You won't have to have as many decor items. And I love the finish on that charger. Isn't it so pretty? Now I wanted to use like a window decal to make a wood round. I found a great one that says give thanks. So I thought I would take one of these little wood rounds from the Dollar Tree and see if we can make a fun Thanksgiving sign with this. Even though they're thin, they are still made out of wood, so they do stain beautifully. And we've done a lot of staining on our wood items today. So we're gonna go ahead and give this one the same finish. So again, just using Antique Wax by Waverly, we are gonna stain the wood round. Now, I bought a whole case of these wood rounds at dollartree.com just to make sure that I always had some. This piece is pretty flat, but maybe I've bought too many because the ones that I have now are all warped. Do you guys have any tricks to try to fix the warped Dollar Tree wood signs like this? If you do, be sure to leave me a comment down below. I love learning from you guys. I just wipe off the extra Antique Wax by Waverly with a paper towel. And then we can attach this great Give Thanks window decal. It's kind of like a dark green color, the Give Thanks. And then it's got like some fall leaves on there as well. And then to attach it, we are going to Mod Podge it on there. But first, I wanted to distress the sign. And so I just went over the whole thing with ivory. And then I'm using a baby wipe and just still working in that one direction, distressing the whole thing. The reason I did that is because I thought that the stain was too dark and that you weren't going to be able to read the Give Thanks on there. So I just wanted a lighter stain, and I had already stained it. So this is what I ended up with. I think that did make it a little bit more legible. It was just too dark. But that's a way, if you've already stained it, you can try to redeem yourself. Now, I also want to make it extra special since it's just a thin Dollar Tree sign. And I'm going to do that using some of the little wood half beads. Now, these are not from Dollar Tree. I actually get these on Amazon. I do have these linked in my Amazon shop below, and they can just really make a Dollar Tree sign special. I am just going to frame out the sign with this. Now, you could paint them or stain them. I kind of like them just raw wood like that. It's going to have two different finishes of wood. It's going to make it look, you know, give it a little bit more character. So I went ahead and lined them all up so I knew exactly how many of those I will need. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach the window decal. I am just going to use a thin coat of Mod Podge all over the sign because I want it to have like that same matte finish everywhere that you look. So not just where the decal, just go all over the entire sign. And I want it to be, you know, pretty thin because all I'm adding is the window decal. I'm going to lay the dark green give thanks sign on there. And, using window decals is a lot quicker and easier, but you could always, cut out some vinyl with your Cricut machine and kind of do the same thing. I lay it flat on there and then just go over the top of it with another coat of Mod Podge and give it a quick dry. Now, if you have any bubbling like that, a lot of times it will kind of work its way out, but I do have one of those little Cricut brayers, so I did try to smooth that out, and that definitely helped. Now, I still had a little bit of sheen, and I want to make sure that kind of blends in, becomes part of that back sign, so I go over it with a nice coat of Mod Podge. Again, drying that and sealing everything in. Look how beautiful that looks. Just making sure I don't have any bubbles. It's looking pretty good. And then we can go back and attach all these wood beads. I kind of got them out of the way, but I want to go ahead and line them all back up so I know exactly how many to use, so I don't end up at the end with like too much space or not enough space. And then we're just going to go in with a little dot of hot glue. It's a little bit harder with this Ryobi hot glue gun because it does shoot out a lot of hot glue. To do something, just a small dot of hot glue on this, but I'm going to try to use restraint. And I'm just going to do one dot and attaching that on there. And since these wood beads, these are, a nice size. Can't remember exactly the millimeter on these, but it's going to give the sign more depth, make it look thicker, make it look a little bit more high end. And then we're just going to do that, gluing those all the way around, framing it out. You could also use wood beads from the Dollar Tree, but I really do appreciate the half beads like that. Now I need to replace the hanger on there. So this is the original hanger that came on it. I'm just going to go ahead and clean it up a little bit here by burning off the fuzzies and reattaching that to our sign. Now I thought it was a little bit plain and maybe needed just a little bit more fall. So I decided to take some of the Dollar Tree leather leaves. These are like the oak leaves, I guess. And they match the leaves on that design. That like orangish brown color. I'm just going to cut off the plastic stems. I don't really like the way those look, and scatter those out. I can have room for one here at the top. And so I'm going to go ahead and hot glue that on by putting a little hot glue on the stem of that. And this is going to give like a way more 3D feel to this sign as well. And it's going to give it some more character. Now for the bottom, I'm going to do a couple of leaves here. Again, just doing a little hot glue. I don't want the whole thing to be glued down. I want it to kind of stick out and look like just like fall leaves. And I have room for 2 of them down here. Kind of fills up some of that empty space. It definitely gives the Thanksgiving sign a little bit more character. So it is a lighter stain than the other wood DIYs we've done today. But I'm kind of glad I did that because it makes it easier to read the give thanks on there. So just a fun way to decorate a Dollar Tree wood round using a window decal from the Dollar Tree, some faux leather leaves, and some wood half beads. And I think it turned out just lovely for Thanksgiving. And these are pretty big too. You could always use this as a wall hanging in your entryway for Thanksgiving.
I think it's really pretty. Okay, guys, you've made it all the way to the final reveal for all 20 of the Thanksgiving Dollar Tree DIYs we did today. I hope you got lots of fun crafting inspiration. Be sure to let me know which one was your favorite down in the comments below. I always love seeing which ones that you guys enjoy, so I'll know what to make in the future. Enjoy the final reveal.
You could see yourself just sitting there on my chair. I'm staring at you, you don't even notice. Should've told you straight away. looking good tonight. I wanna kiss you before the sun goes down. It's what you're doing, it's making me feel like I'm falling. And when you're moving, I can hear my calling. There's no one else here that I see but you. It's what you're doing, it's making me feel like I'm falling. Yeah, I'm falling in love. Falling in love. You set my wheels in motion. I'm going crazy for you. I feel like the ocean. I can see you want this too. Cause you've been looking at me all night, trying to figure me out. I just wanna let you know. And I ain't playing no games, baby, you won't change. I only want you. I wanna kiss you before the sun goes down. It's what you're doing, it's making me feel like I'm falling. And when you're moving, I can hear my calling. There's no one else here that I see but you. It's what you're doing, it's making me feel like I'm falling. Yeah, I'm falling in love. Yeah, I'm falling in love. I wanna kiss you before the sun goes down. I wanna kiss you before the sun goes down. It's what you're doing, making me feel like I'm falling. And when you're moving, I can hear my calling. There's no one else here that I see but you. It's what you're doing, that's making me feel like I'm falling. Yeah, I'm falling in love. 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 You know that I lie when I say that I'm fine, 'cause you know me like that. You know me better than anyone I know. And you know I need space, a little time for myself when I'm stressed and upset. You know me better than anyone I know. Darling, we have been to hell and back. That's how I know this is forever. All these years, every single tear, all the regrets and promises, all the ups, breakups, bumps in the road, we've been until we break. We keep crashing down, but baby, we got up. Yeah, look at us now. After all these years, you
so much for making it all the way to the end of today's video. I'd also like to give a huge shout out and thank you to all my Crafty Beach Bum members for supporting my channel. Thank you to Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Tracy Knight, Nancy Warner, Janae Farrington, Pamelia Wren, Donna Schreiner, Live Another Day, Marin Christensen, Debbie Middleton, Adrienne Brolt, Red Mama, Tammy Muir, and Donna Tanner. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. If you would like to become a Crafty Beach Bum member, all you have to do is hit the join button next to today's video. You're going to get early ad-free access to my videos here on YouTube. It's $4.99 a month, and you're free to cancel at any time. I'd also like to thank all of you that reached out to make sure that I was okay after Hurricane Milton. My town was completely destroyed by 3 tornadoes. Missed me by 2 blocks. So we are okay, and thank you all for reaching out to me. My community is not okay though, so I will do the best I can getting some new content out to you guys.